Hey, I'm Kati Spaas, and I'm a world renowned author and speaker on high sensitivity and a retired coach to professional artists and performers. Spotlight Stress is your guide to build confidence, find your superpower, and claim your shine. Triumph over adversity is her catchphrase, and I'm always in a crazy spin is literally the first thing she told me. Welcome, Eve Austin. Please, what's going on? Why are you in a crazy spin?
Because life moves so fast, and I'm always excited about every single thing that happens. Sometimes I don't like it, and sometimes I do. Well, most of the time I do, actually. And being an actor, a producer, a mom, just, and so many other things, I'm always interested in what's going on around me. So it takes time. I don't like to waste time, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
So there's a few movies we might have seen you in, Lola Does Manhattan and American Fango, but even better, there's a few where we will be seeing you. Coming up is Infidelity, Junction, and also Knights of the Turntable. So that is super exciting. You were just shooting yesterday and you will be shooting again soon, you told me. So I'm very grateful that you're here with us today. And what does it mean to you to work with energy, to use metaphysics?
Well, it's, as I told you, it's one of my passions. What it means is to learn why I'm here. I mean, I know what I'm here for because I know what my passion is, and when it's in your heart, that's what it is. But basically, um, energy begets energy, and positive energy, positive thoughts, positive ways of looking at life, trying to lift other people up are all examples of energy. And I want to keep that going rather than life is difficult. Yes, it is. Sometimes it is. I don't want to live in fear. I want to live in love as much as I can. And that doesn't necessarily mean love with another person. It can. But I think most of it has to do with love for yourself. And most of us don't know how to do that. And that includes me. I think it's a learning process throughout life. I'm getting much better at it. I'm trying to find not the faults in people and the faults in myself because we're all human beings and it's what makes us a whole. So, working with energy has to do with the moods we're in, changing our mind, making our minds, controlling our minds to know that not everything's going to be perfect every day, but in its own way, it is perfection because it teaches you the lessons in life and then you can overcome them.
Beautiful. I love that. And I think that it's really easy to explain how energy works when you compare it to the Facebook algorithm. And that's what you say, like the more you focus on, we're all human, we can make mistakes and we can just be ourselves and enjoy the moment instead of the bitterness, because that was really easy for me to stay stuck in the bitterness. But when you look at it this way, it's just like, oh yeah, everyone makes mistakes and I can just enjoy the fact that I'm okay, that I'm good enough, and I don't have to keep focusing on the negative in other people and in what they're doing, but I can just enjoy the fact that we're all here. We're having a good time because let's be honest, we're blessed with most of us relatively good health. We have a roof over our head. We have food on the table. For now, we still have heating in the winter time. um, but all those things, and it's just so nice to see that the more you focus your attention on the good stuff, the more you will attract the good stuff. Like a little bit Facebook showing you the kitten videos when you keep on clicking on them. So your parents, they were Holocaust survivors. So that meant that they had a completely different environment to grow up in. And you as well, because you were kept in a very restricted environment. um, they tried to keep you safe because of the things they had seen and that had happened to them. What was it to you? What was going on when you were finally at the point where you could start tasting freedom? Because that is a big step from one place to the other. So how did you cope with that, and how did you experience your freedom?
Well, I'm learning to experience it now, to tell you the truth. It took a very long time, because when you are not free and you're brought up that way, it's not all of a sudden, okay, now I'm going to fly like a bird. It's more like, okay, well, there was some rebellion in the early years. I was a child, flower child type. Um, but mainly it was to feel my wings and to deal with freedom. It's a hard concept. I still don't feel totally free. But on a daily basis, I'm learning that I was meant to be happy, like we all are, even in terrible conditions. People are meant to be happy, and they're meant to look at the positive side of life. And the negativity is something to teach us our life lessons. And when we do that, and we look at life that way, as opportunities, and helping other people be the best that they can be, you lift yourself up as well. And it's just a matter of growing into the belief that you can do that and that you are that. There comes a point in life, which I'm much closer to, where you believe in yourself. That Because I don't care what people tell you, the biggest stars in the world have their own demons. We all do. And when we understand that we are all the same, yet we're different and we're all learning, it's a much easier way to look at the world and at yourself. So freedom to me means freedom of negativity. It means freedom of, um, it's freedom to love yourself, and to love yourself first. And I have children, and it's always about my children, or about this person that's in need that I want to help. But the bottom line of it is, I need to do that for myself as well. And that is a lifelong lesson. And I hope I learn it before it's time to say goodbye to this particular universe.
Yeah, and energy flows where attention goes. And if you keep on focusing on these positive things and on you being comfortable in your own skin and on the things that, what it means to be free for you, you will get more of the same. So, I think you're doing a great job at that, and that you will keep on attracting more and more of this because you are doing the inner work for it to attract it.
And the inner work has to do with letting fear go. As I mentioned before, there's only love and fear. And if you stay in that love state, that everything will be fine. Right now this is what's happening, but this is not forever. This moment doesn't last forever. And if I can learn from this moment, I can go to the next one in a very different mind state. And there are ways to make yourself feel better, like listening to music that inspires you, watching something that inspires you. I mean, there are many ways we can do that, but as human beings, we tend to wallow in what's given and what we think is a negative situation. But they can all be turned to positive in their own way. And no matter what your life circumstances are, it's a very big topic, and it's a very important topic. And I think all people really need to know is that we are not meant to suffer. We're not here to suffer. There is no punishing God or whatever there is. That basically we punish ourselves, and there's no need for that, because we were all born perfect. We don't think so. We think, oh, my face isn't right, my body isn't right, this isn't right. But if we start thinking about what is and being grateful what we have, and I sound like a little Pollyanna right now, but it is true. It's the minute that you let go of fear and allow things to happen to you, things do, and the energy gets better and better and better, and then things come back to you like a boomerang, positive, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And it has nothing to do with the way you look, or, because when I just had my second baby, it took me some time to release that body fat that you've gained, and then your body is changed after two C-sections. So I had to start looking at my belly as something that I love. And at the same time, I'm not using it as an excuse to work on my body, because I think that, to me, it's really easy to say, oh, I had two children, now I can eat everything I want because I'm a binge eater, like big time. So it's really easy to do that and to dwell on that and, oh, my body, blah, blah, blah. So let's eat. But instead, I'm thinking, oh, I need to, no, I don't need to. I want to work out, and I want to eat a lot of healthy things and have my snacks whenever I think that I can have them, but so that I honor my body. And at the same time, I will look at it with love. And that's not always easy, because when you look at them in the mirror, the first thing you see is not, oh, my beautiful belly. It's like, it's disgust. It's like, oh, there's skin hanging that shouldn't be hanging.
Because we think it has to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And it truly doesn't. I mean, honestly, in my life, I've seen so many women. In France they call them jolies laides. Yeah, they're pretty ugly.
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
translation? Ugly, pretty, whatever. And they attract more men than I've ever seen. And that's because of the way they feel about themselves and how they are. So sometimes it starts with, okay, I'm beautiful, and you go, well, I can't say that to myself. But that has, once you're able to take that in, we realize that we all are. And every single thing that we have that we don't like, somebody else would love to have. And it's, yeah. So it's really, it's a mindset and it's a discipline. Like, you can't let yourself go. I'm at a certain age where my metabolism doesn't work the same, where I could lose weight, and it's much harder. So I up the ante unless I don't want to, and that's okay too.
Exactly.
But if I'm not happy with the way I look, I mean, I know I have to do something. If I'm not happy the way my career is going, I have to do something.
Yes.
I work harder, or at least more, and get more things out there. Um, if I don't feel loved, I have to give more love and give myself more love and give more love out there. And that's kind of how it works. It's rather simple but difficult to do.
Yeah, and I think that that is probably also the first step, because very often I hear people like, oh, but I keep telling myself that I'm beautiful, but it doesn't work. No, that doesn't work, because you keep thinking and seeing that it's not, and then just telling yourself that it is not enough. But what you say, like the first step is, in case of my belly, for example, it's like sending the love to the belly, because it's thanks to this belly that I was able to
Children.
create those two beautiful divine creatures, and first start with the things that you're grateful for and implement that, and then start looking at it with love. And then it's easier step by step, when you keep doing that, to see the beauty in it, and that will grow. And it doesn't have to be day one, but there's a million steps in between. And if we just say something to ourselves just because we think we have to say that so that we will get there, then you're not feeling it. And if you're not feeling it, your vibration won't raise and you won't attract it either.
But eventually, if you do that, even when you don't believe it, people say live as if it's already there. I'm
Yeah,
not proposing that people lie to themselves, but
no.
eventually, that the 15th time that you look in the mirror and you go, well, my nose is this and my mouth is that, and eventually say, but it's not so bad, or like, your tummy. You did bring those children into the world. How many people can say that? I mean, to be a mother is one of the most sacred things that you could ever do, and there are miracles. And that is your war scars. There are people walking around with scars all over, and we don't, like with women, it's terrible, and with a guy, it's cool. What is that? It's a mindset, it's the way that we think. And mindsets can be changed. So it's always important to remember that we're here out of love, and we have to love ourselves. We have to love everyone around us, and then we're going to get more love. If we're in hatred, that's more of what we're going to get. It all comes back to you.
Yeah, exactly. That's like really interesting, because this is something that people can start applying for themselves as well. These were a few like really great tips on how to do
I'll give
this.
you one tiny one more. Um, uh, it's People have heard about this, but keep a journal or a book where you can write either in the morning or at night the things that you are grateful for. And every day you write 5 things that you are grateful for, whether it's, that someone smiled at you on the street, or that you did that for them, or the things that you've done for others, or what they've done for you. You will find more and more and more things that you have to be grateful for. And you can start with the basics, but the more that you realize that, the more joyous you get. And the more negativity shifts away. And as I mentioned to you before, I believe that there's only love and fear in this world. And if you're not on the side of love, then you're afraid of something. You're afraid of uh, what people will think of this or that. But if you think that it's fine, everybody else will too, you know? So it's stay on the
Exactly.
side of love.
And something else you told me before is the fear that you have for success and failure. That's something I really recognized myself in. So, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with that?
Yeah, I think it's something that really keeps me back, or has kept me back in the past from realizing whatever dreams I've had. And the more that I learn to trust that the things that are meant for me will come to me, the less fear I have either way. So fear of failure, and I'm in a business where we can say that there's a lot of failure. There isn't. There are a lot of lessons. And wanting to be in this business is very hard, but I love the people in it. And there, of course, there's always people that you don't love in it. But that's because they haven't evolved to the point where where they're still in that fear base. Um, so fear of success looks like, what if I get to a point in my career that is so high? What happens then? So high as I imagine it, recognition, awards, whatever. Things are kind of stupid when you really think about it, because I get joy in the journey. If I didn't like the journey, I couldn't be in this business. But let's say it comes to a certain point. What would happen? Could I go to the supermarket without makeup on? Could I get fat? Could I get, you know, are people going to constantly go online and say nasty things about me? There isn't a fear of exposure that way. What if I get to that point and I don't like it? And what do I do then, that I worked my whole life to get to somewhere, and then it's not to my liking? That's kind of a fear of success. What if I have to change my entire life? I have children. I want to stay close with them. What if it takes me? So it's all of these fear-based questions. And the other side of that is, um, what if I embarrass myself? What if people will laugh at me? What if and it's happened when I was on stage. I do a lot of film and TV now, but I started in theater. And, there's this wonderful feeling, right? When you're on stage and you're going great and everything's moving, but there are the times right before you go on where you have this terrible stage fright. What if I forget my lines? What if something will happen? What if they don't laugh here? It's all about controlling the universe. So it's like letting go of those controls. So when I say that I have an equal fear of it, it's something I'm still working on. Do I want it? Yes. But now that I'm able to go into the world and do it, because of things that happened in my life that have changed my ability to go out there. Um, the last 2 years have been very interesting because I've been grasping for more and saying I'm less afraid and able to I live in New York, but I'm bi-coastal. I live in, I mean, I could be a local to California. I went and got myself another agent in the Southeast. I things that when I was married, I'm widowed, but when I was married, I was protected from all of that, and now I have to put the foot in front of the other and say, if I want this, I have to do this. And fear could come in any space at all. I mean, but basically, if you're not in that love place, you're in a fear place. And everything that you look at in your life, you can actually put into those two spaces. I don't want to live in fear anymore. So, fear of success and fear of failure are two sides of the same coin. And it's the way that we judge ourselves. And we should not really care about what other people think of us, but we do.
Yeah.
And so we're human beings, but there are people out there that do not have that fear. And I don't mean flying out of an airplane. That's a different kind of fear. But it's related. It's all related. Everything is related in this world, you
Yeah, for
know?
sure. And the more you connect with your inner self, the easier it gets to feel that the fear is actually not legit. Because fear is something created by the brain to keep you where you were, where you are.
Exactly. That's why the brain does not like change. The brain wants you to stay where you are because it's safe and comfortable. And the minute that we say, oh, well, what if it's not comfortable? That's when we get afraid. And that's when we stop ourselves. And, in this life, the way that we're living today, we used to die at 50. And now, our lifespan has expanded quite a bit. And, but I'm closer to the end than I am to the beginning. But to me, it's like I have new beginnings because the more I learn to love myself, the more of a new beginning I have. And so we all work at our own pace. And even if it's a little increment that makes you move towards that love, towards that light, towards that happiness. And even for me, I love making people feel better about themselves. So it's selfish because it gives me some, I don't know, some kind of a rush of feeling good because I did something. But if we could all feel like that, we'd be walking around the world. We wouldn't have these problems, that particularly the internet has brought about because we can actually see them. Before the internet, we didn't see all those problems. We could ignore it. Now we can't ignore it. It's right in your face. So if we can make somebody feel better about their life, all the better. And I hope that the movies that I create and the work that I do will help that. As an actor, I don't have as much power to do that, except for what I create myself, because I will obviously take roles that are nothing that I would never want to represent. But I do want to represent the ugly sides of life too, so people can see themselves. But as a filmmaker, I really want to uplift people. And as you said, triumph over adversity and see what that is and what that feels like and what freedom feels like. And I'm living it along with them. I'm not that much apart or ahead. I want to take people on that journey with me.
That is so beautiful, Eve. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful wisdom with us today. And I think that there were a lot of golden nuggets in here that, we can really do something with and make our own and start implementing for our own lives. I do think that the gratitude journal in the evening is brilliant. I use an extensive exercise on that with my clients, which is very, very effective. So that is step A, really start implementing that tip from Eve because it will bring you a lot. Because when you do that before you go to bed, your brain will get amazing, amazing input right before you get in the state of sleep. And it will get into your subconscious a lot easier and faster, which will help you shift things in your life so much faster than when you have to do it on a different way. So use that gratitude journal in the evening. Write things down that you're grateful about from things that happened during the day, but also from yourself, from your partner, from your children, from your friends. Just the little things in life, make them bigger, make them more important, and it will keep growing and you will attract more of the same. Thank you so much, Eve, for bringing this topic that I love so much, about energy and all these things to the party today. And I do hope that we get to chat again soon.
Oh, I truly hope that I can feel your vibes even through the screen here. I mean, you're just a beautiful human being, and I really appreciate your having me here and being able to say what's in my heart. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
See you.
Bye.